Well, welcome back. The great thing about doing Facebook Live is we are truly live. So sometimes we have technical glitches, and the internet being the internet right now, we just had one of those glitches. So hopefully you guys are able to log back on and join us. I haven't really gotten too far, but I'll give it just a minute before I get back into it. So I appreciate everybody's patience. But what I wanted to go over again is hopefully you've been able to log on and watch the Board of Commissioners on our Wednesday meetings. We just started live streaming that. And at 9:30 on Wednesdays, you can get on, ask the Board of Commissioners a question, give us your feedback. We truly want it. And this last Wednesday, we basically gave a state of the county, letting everybody know what we've been working on since we had to close our office doors, which was back in March, and let everybody kind of have insight as to all the projects we're still doing, because as much as we can, Weld County is still business as usual. And it was important for us to share with everybody how hard we've been working on your behalf and how hard we've been working to make sure that programs continue on, that we continue to get projects completed, because COVID is not going to slow us down, and we are not going to stop representing you, and we're not going to let it affect it as much as we can. So we are practicing all the social distancing and everything we need to, but I want to let everyone know, make sure you log in on Wednesdays at 9:30 for that. We're excited to be doing it. But with that, it is Good Friday. I don't typically get to do my normal small group Bible studies anymore because of the shelter-in-place rule and the 6-foot distancing when we self-distance. So I've kind of been missing my group, but because today is such an important day for Christians all across the world, I wanted to share with you a Bible verse that is important to me, and that is John 2:19. And if you have your Bible, I encourage you to pull it up with me as I read it. But Jesus said to them, "Destroy this temple, and I will raise it again in 3 days." And that just truly gives me hope. It gives me a warm comfort in my heart, and it should for all of us that practice in faith, because we know Jesus is risen, and that glorious day we get to celebrate is coming up here on Sunday for Easter. So with that puts us in our Passover season right now, and that we have many people all across the globe celebrating it. Although these times are difficult, we may not be able to be with families like we traditionally are. I hope you take a moment to hug those around you, give love, reach out via the phone. Maybe you get a Skype, maybe you get a FaceTime, whatever that medium is. Hopefully you can still reach out and share a connection with your loved ones. I wanted to reach out, let everyone know COVID is the talk of the season, right? It's what we're inundated with on a daily basis, moment by moment, and really it's taking over our lives to many degrees. And so I wanted to let you know what the Weld County Commissioners are doing for the county is our response to COVID. We really got out ahead of this, I would say, best anybody could. When you're in a leadership role such as we are as county commissioners, it's important that you need to respect the Constitution of the United States. So every measure we took, we made sure we tried to do that while keeping in mind, do not infringe upon people's constitutional rights. And when we have leaders across the country mandating shelters in place, mandating this, mandating that, we think it's important that we respect, so we kindly ask. And what's amazing about Weld County is the residents of Weld County, for the most part, have been doing that. They've been using common sense. They've been taking that up. They've been practicing social distancing, self-distancing of 6 feet. Many times I see people wearing their masks out in public. Some places they wear it, some places they don't. But I would really say, Weld County residents, they're doing a good job, and I want to applaud you. We've been having multiple meetings as the Board of Commissioners, meetings with our departments. We've stood up our COG team, which is our Continuity of Governance team. We've stood up our EOC, which is our Emergency Operation Command Unit. And so really we're working 24/7 around the clock, making sure that we're delivering the services to the Weld County residents and abroad, and reaching out even past our county borders to make sure we get things done. Just this last week, we worked in conjunction with Larimer County. We were finally able to get some testing kits in, because we did work in conjunction with the other county, being Larimer County, and we stood up a testing facility up at the ranch that first responders were able to use and go up there and get tested. And Weld County spearheaded that with our staff, and I'm proud of them. We did a good event up there. And we've done several things. I think last week we spoke about the tax measure that the Weld County Board of Commissioners brought forth when Governor Polis announced that we could have our treasurer suspend penalties for late property tax payments. The Board of County Commissioners took him up on that, and so we delayed property tax payments having to come in essentially until October 31st. We were only going to be charging 1/12% interest per month up through that October 31st deadline to get those payments in. We were trying to help out businesses, help out individuals, help out farmers, help out ranchers, help out everybody equally by giving them time to make those property tax payments, keeping cash in their hands when they could use it most and stay liquid. Governor then came back and said, nope, that's not what I meant by my order, and effectively nullified that October 31st deadline we set. Now he's come out and said, you can have your first payment, which was technically supposed to be in the end of February. You can have that now come in by May 1st without any penalty. And if you want to make your second payment, you can do that by June 15th. So he's given a little help, but I'll tell you, since we had to announce that we can't do that October 31st deadline, I've had farmers calling me saying, I was really counting on this to help carry me through. Right now, we're getting blasted. We've got low crop prices, commodity prices have just taken a beating. This was going to allow me to keep cash in hand and make it through. And it's like a double whammy here. We get our hopes up, and then the hopes come down. And I can't feel. I feel with you. I can't begin to feel how bad you feel, but I hear you, and I sympathize with you, and want to let you know we're still working on it and exploring all of our options. One of the questions that continues to get brought up to us as Weld County Commissioners when we talk about COVID, we've had several emails come in, so I just want to read those off and answer those questions. And again, if you have questions, put them in the comments section here. Sherry and Kelly will read them off to me, and we'll make sure we get to those for you. But the first question we have is, why won't Weld County give out the location of those positive tests? Larimer County and other counties across the state are doing that. Well, it's quite simple. Our Director of Health, Dr. Wallace, he feels strongly that if we give out those locations, people will say, okay, well, COVID's over there, but it's not here, right? And I'm safe. Or I can go over here because he said COVID's not there, and I'll be safe so I don't have to practice those rules. What Dr. Wallace continually says is he wants people to feel like COVID-19 is everywhere, because in a sense, it really is. And it's so important we continue to wash our hands, don't touch our eyes, don't touch our mouth, and practice that social distancing so we can stop the spread of this virus. And so it's really simple why he hasn't, and it's protect people. We don't want them going, oh, well, this business has it, and does it have a negative impact on a business or a person? I mean, if we were to say there's 2 cases in New Raymer, that pretty much singles out exactly who it is in New Raymer, right? Because population isn't very big. So I think it's important that we continue on with Dr. Wallace's vision there. Sherry, have we had any questions come on comment section yet?
Earlier,
Okay.
back to when you were talking about accessing the board meetings, where and how can we find that information? How do they access?
Oh, it's great. So first of all, I would encourage everybody to go to weldgov.com, and on there you can go to the Board of County Commissioners page, and you can view those live stream events. And we've been live streaming them, all of our board meetings. We've been doing that for a while, but now we're also doing these chat with the commissioner events. And if you have questions, you can email questions to askacommissioner at weldgov.com. And so it's important that we do that. I think it's important that we reach out, and it's a way for us to stay in touch with everybody in the community. One of the other questions we have is what are we doing to procure adequate tests? We've all heard from friends and family who've been sent home with suspected COVID-19, but no test to verify that. This person says, I don't expect you to fix this, but how are we showing accountability here? It's a great question. Frankly, we don't have the tests. You hit the nail on the head. Daily, we are ordering those supplies, trying to order those supplies online. We think we have them procured, and it goes through, and then immediately that order gets canceled. The tests aren't out there. We're not the only county. We're not the only area that is not able to do that. We're in constant contact with the governor and his team. We're in constant contact with other counties, seeing if we can purchase tests off of them. Frankly, the only tests we've gotten in recently were those tests we were able to use up at the ranch. So that event I just spoke to you about that we did jointly with Larimer County for first responders. Recently, though, today, I was on the phone with Senator Gardner, me and my fellow commissioners. And Senator Gardner, first of all, let me say, we are lucky to have a senator like Cory Gardner representing our area. Guys, he is our only friend we have right now. Doesn't seem like the governor wants to listen to us when we're asking him for much needed help, much needed supplies. Cory Gardner is standing up for the residents of Weld County with the Weld County Commissioners, and he gets it. He understands agriculture. He understands our businesses. And if I could say anything, it's that I'm thankful that we have a leader such as Cory Gardner in Washington, D.C. that has direct access to the vice president, to the president, to leadership in both chambers, and he's able to truly get things done for us. And publicly, I'll tell him thank you, just as I did privately on the phone this morning. So I think we can all be proud of that representation we have from Senator Gardner. So thank you very much. But he's helping us get tests. We've had some outbreaks across the county, and he is securing those tests, rapid tests that we can try and use to help bring down those outbreaks. So that's kind of what we're working on now, and I thank him for really stepping up to the plate and helping out the residents of Weld County. We got another question online.
Another question coming in. In your opinion, the opinion of the commissioners, how do you feel this pandemic and its restrictions on the economy are going to affect the county budget?
That's a great question. I've been as concerned about the budget as I have about COVID-19 since the moment this happened. Once we start throttling businesses back or actually making them shut down, which is what this order essentially did when we said only essential businesses can stay open, it's going to have a great impact on the county. What we're looking at, I tasked Don Warden as did the other commissioners, but we have to look at the county budget, not just this year, but for next year, for 2021, for 2022, and 2023. We have a great director of finance in Don Warden. He's been on the job for 42 years. He's what's helped Weld County get so that we're debt-free, both long-term and short-term debt, no sales tax. We dove into it. We're expecting a worst-case scenario, but we're looking at evaluations on property to go down next year, probably around 10%, just because of the decrease in production of oil and gas. But when we look at valuations on property, those kind of come in arrears when we're looking at the hit on the county budget. And so we're 2 years out from now, but what we're looking at is probably numbers getting back closer to what they were in 2019 when we come at property valuations. And as a county, the precautions we're taking on that is we're scrutinizing every hire. Worst thing we could do would be hire new employees and then have to furlough them. So what we did is we went through all of our departments. We went through all of the hirings that we have slated. And we also were looking at our sunsetting positions. So anytime someone retires or leaves, we consider that a sunset. And do we need to hire that position back? So what we're essentially going to do is we're going, for the most part, put a freeze on hiring so that we aren't hiring individuals to then possibly have to lay them off. But with this plan, because of our great reserves, we're able to tackle this without having to furlough any of our employees. Now, we always ask a lot of our employees, but again, we're going to ask the great Weld strong team to, give us more with a little bit less. I think they're up to the challenge. They're all excited about it. We've talked with all our department chairs. We've talked with everybody, and everybody's on board because we're going to do the best we can for the county, and we promise to deliver the best product we can to you, the residents of Weld County. Do you have another question online?
If you're, no, I think we're good. These are all
Good.
Happy Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. Happy
Well, I love it. I love it. Yes. It's a great Friday. It's a great Happy Good Friday, right? So a couple things I wanted to talk about, too, as we continue to talk about COVID. Wouldn't it be better, here's one of the questions we got in on email, wouldn't it be better to get tested prior to showing symptoms? Why not test the general population who may be asymptomatic? That's a great question, and I couldn't agree more with it. Simply put, that would be our fastest way if we could have mass testing right now to get people back to work sooner, which is what we all want to do. Being a small business owner, we all want to be back to work, just like I'm sure everybody watching this wants to be back to work. My wife's a teacher. She would love to be back in her classroom. It's a lot easier to teach the students in that regard. But yes, it would be great if we could test everybody right now. Mass testing is, my fellow Commissioner Scott James says, is going to give us that hard data, and we can simply say, you know what, you are good, you're clean, you've either had it and you are now immune to it, or you don't have it, get back to work. And I'm sorry, you guys have the virus, you're going to have to wait until your symptoms are gone. And that way we can get businesses opened up and people getting back to work. Problem is we just don't have the tests. Now, everybody's coming together, and that's what I love about American ingenuity, right? President Trump said it is, we got the greatest people in the entire world, and American ingenuity will come through and deliver us from this. And I truly believe it, and we are working on it. But unfortunately, it takes time to build up all those tests. I heard of a company last night as I was watching the news, and they were going to be able to make 2 million kits a month to roll out for testing. That's a ton of kits, but we have 350 million people in this country, so that takes a long time to get enough kits to test everybody. So it's still going to take time, and obviously time is something all of us are running short of as far as patience goes. And so I continue to ask everybody, just practice that patience, practice those guidelines we've set forth. But that kind of brings me to another note, and this is a little somber, but as we've all been locked up, some people are feeling bouts of depression. They're struggling with it, and we're social creatures. Truly, if you want to hunt, it takes a brain about the size of a walnut, right, to go out and hunt. But that's not human beings, right? We're creatures that are socially out there, and our whole frontal cortex was developed so that we could look at other individuals, right? Read their facial expressions and try and discern what they're really thinking, what they're trying to communicate, and that's what developed us. So not having this social interaction is quite tough for people, and I just want to say, if you're struggling with that, if you're struggling with depression and you're having suicidal thoughts, friends, I've lost friends and loved ones to this horrible disease. And I ask you, if you're having those thoughts, please reach out. Reach out to a loved one. Reach out to a friend. We have the suicide prevention hotline, and it's 800-273-8255. Again, 800-273-8255. You're not in this alone, and it's a very permanent solution for a temporary problem, and I trust you. If you have a problem, reach out to me. My phone's always on. I'll talk to you, right? But it's know somebody's out there and we care about you. And so I know I've had to talk with some friends this week that are struggling with that themselves, and boy, you're not alone in this. We love you, and we're here for you. So reach out, show some love to people, and especially in this great time of need. So thank you for allowing me to diverge there. You had another comment come through?
Well, it's a change of subject a little bit.
Okay, good.
Oil and gas.
Mm.
Not just what's going on with COVID, but the battle that's raging in the oil and gas industry.
Yes.
What do you think is the outlook for production to get back to any semblance of normal?
It's going to take a while. So right now, I think today we were under $20 again, dollars per barrel, excuse me. And I know that the Saudis and the Russians have agreed in principle to cut back, or OPEC has, to cut back production of $10 million barrels of production a day. It's going to help a little, but ladies and gentlemen, that's a drop in the bucket. It's our demand is down so far right now. Our demand for oil usage in this country is down 20 million barrels per day right now. So we just don't have that high demand that we normally have. Plus, they're flooding the market, so the prices they're just not working, right? And as President Trump was saying earlier, everybody has to cut their production a little bit. Well, the U.S. already has, right? Because we work on a capitalistic society where if the money's not there, we're not just going to pump needlessly. And our producers have done that. It's going to take a couple things. A, we have to get the rules set for SB 181 that has devastated this state. I think maybe it might be sinking in a little bit to those on the other side of the aisle how much oil and gas is going to mean to this state when they look at how their budgets are going to get cut for all of their little pet projects. And I'm sorry if I sound mean there, but oil and gas has been the backbone of this state. It pulled us out of the recession in 08 and 09 and really made the state prosperous. Not just Weld County, but the state. It's funded all of our transportation projects. It's funded education. It's funded many buildings. It's funded everything to that nature, and it's gone. And maybe they, the other side will see how important it is and that they're not trying to destroy the environment. They're great partners of the environment and doing things safely. And I say they, meaning the oil and gas industry, and work together with them, right? Safety is paramount to me, to the industry, to everybody. The environment's paramount to all sides. Recognize that those steps have been made. And it's going to take some time as people get back to work and consumption goes up, and hopefully we can get the rules set so that there's certainty in the market. And I promise to continue voicing what those rules should be. I've been on numerous calls this week alone with leaders from the oil and gas industry, with CEOs, with talking with them. What can we do to help you out, right? Weld County's your partner here, and how can we help you continue to, be vital in the county? And all they keep saying is, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for your leadership on this. And we know Weld County is leading the way, and we are working hand in hand with them. And I'm excited about that. We have great commissioners. We have great leaders. We have a great oil and gas division inside Weld County, and we're working to do that. It's going to take some time, but we promise to keep up that fight. So, did you have another question?
Do you have any new news on Highway 52, the coalition? Not
really. Since last week, we got the PEL signed this week, and PEL was signed by the county commissioners so that we can continue those projects in conjunction with CDOT. But what we agreed to through that PEL was the local matching. So if I remember those numbers correctly off the top of my head, towards the first step of the projects, the county is going to match about $56,000 worth of funds towards that. The remaining communities are going to come in and match. Weld County will essentially bring that money in and send it all to CDOT at one time. But total local match, I think we're looking at $252,000 there for those first intersection improvements. And I think that was the update we have there on 52. The other exciting thing I want to bring to you guys today, I got the opportunity to present my first DOLA grant as a county commissioner. And my fellow county commissioners looked at me and Commissioner Scott James, because along with me, he got to do his first one, and they said, hey, no pressure, right? But you better get this grant. And so Commissioner James and I and a couple of our team members that were around the table supporting us, but we presented the project where we're doing a fleet bay car wash for all of our equipment and vehicles out on the road. And we were able to secure $1 million in DOLA grants for that project. So I'm pretty excited about that. I lived up to the DOLA is the Department of Labor and Affairs. So it's energy monies that come in, and we get those funds for energy impacts, and you can apply for them. Anybody across the state can. And if they have projects that a lot of counties or municipalities were in there trying to get fiber internet into their community, whether it was the last mile, some of it was that middle mile or first mile projects, we were looking at this, and I'm proud to say we got maxed out on that grant. So, not bad for the first time.
No.
So that was kind of exciting news, getting that this week.
I there any emails here that you think we need to? Because we're at 30 minutes.
I think if we're at 30 minutes, I want to respect everybody's time. I do have one more. And this is serious business that we're talking about here today, right? But if you've noticed, I think I'm feeling a little bit shaggy right now with all of our barbers and our beauticians being shut down, and I can't go get my hair cut. So what's everybody think they're going to look like when COVID-19 is done and we can go out and barbers and beauticians can get back to work? I have a feeling I'm going to look like the great Bob Ross, right, with my hair in a nice fro style there. But if you get the opportunity, send me a picture of some way. Maybe you guys have much better Photoshop skills than I do, but send me a picture of what you think you'll look like when this is all said and done before you get to the barber shop. I was chatting with the owner of Greeley Hat Works, Trent Johnson, today, and he's got himself a nice mohawk going on to celebrate this. And many people are having fun with these haircuts. I've seen kids shave off the top of their head so that they look bald on the top and they got the hair still here. So send me some pictures or some ideas of what you may look like, and we'll have some fun with that. But with that being said, guys, I really appreciate you taking time to sit with me on this Good Friday. And we're going to make it a great Friday because it is the season. And just want to say, everybody be safe, continue to self-distance. God bless you, and we're with you. Take care.